Welcome to my screencast. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about KDE Plasma being updated to 6.0 RC2. Now, what changed? Well, simply just a newer version. I'm going to say personally, I do not see any changes whatsoever from RC1. Other than it went from 5.93, from 9.2 to 9.3, basically what I want to say. So little things got updated here. So with the locking screen bug, when I say when I lock the screen, it blanks out, and it locks normally, but to get back to your system, when you go to let's say you want to unlock your screen, you know how you just shake your mouse and it goes to the lock screen password prompt, because I set it up to have a password prompt with it. It doesn't unlock the screen and it doesn't unblank. That's what I meant to say. So it doesn't unblank the screen. It just shows the white cursor and the screen is still blank. And I have to move the cursor around a couple of times like this, hit enter on the keyboard, just trying to get a graphics display going to see my password prompt. And this is how I'm describing this bug. And it takes a while, and then eventually it gets to the prompt, and then you type in your password, you hit enter, it won't go. You have to click that little arrow button next to the password prompt for it to go back to the desktop. And once it goes back to the desktop, it still blanks out. And then you have to move your cursor or go to the hotkey here, the corner, and just there's definitely a bug with the lock screen and it blanking out. I don't know what is causing it. It could be also NVIDIA. But when I'm on Wayland, it actually works fairly okay sometimes. Sometimes I'll blank out. When you lock the screen, it'll blank out. It'll show a cursor. You cannot even get out of it. It just stays like that. And I had to go to another TTY to basically neither kill SDDM or restart the system from root by typing reboot. Reboot, yeah. So, I don't know. I've been playing around with Wayland 2 as well. It works pretty good with NVIDIA non-free drivers. The problem that I get with it is the lock screen is one of the problems. When I told you it would just blank out and show the white cursor, and it won't it'll go in the lock screen mode and it'll just not function at all. I cannot go back to the password prompt. I can't go back to the desktop. It just kind of hangs. There's definitely something wrong with the lock screen. I think that the bug on KDE 6 is the lock screen, and it needs to be addressed. This is with NVIDIA. This also could be with the drivers, NVIDIA drivers as well. This also could be an NVIDIA problem and not so much with KDE, but there is a problem together. As I use other desktop environments, it does not do this. So it's between NVIDIA drivers mixed with KDE, and things are just not working well with KDE 6, as I experience. Maybe other people are using NVIDIA with non-free drivers as well, or proprietary drivers, or I don't know what you want to call it. Drivers that Richard Stallman does not approve. Basically, I'm having problems. If anybody else is using NVIDIA GPU and are testing out KDE 6, please let me know if you're getting the same issue or if it's just on my end. Because, it's not fun. And I really love KDE. I want to stick with KDE, but I do lock my screen often, and I like the feature to work properly. And for me, on my end, this is not making me happy. And eventually, when I get annoyed too much, I basically switch to something that works better for me. So I might just even go to XFCE4 if all this continues to be like this, and just stick with something simple that works. I definitely don't want to go back on GNOME. I'd rather use XFCE4 over GNOME. I'm just not a GNOME fan anymore. At least XFCE4 has a system tray and icons on the desktop icons, I should say. So at least it has that. They don't take features out like GNOME. GNOME is made for normies, made for Red Hat people, made for mobile users. I don't know. It's not made for me. It's definitely not a desktop I want to use. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not for me. And the more the features they take out and add in stupid features that I don't ask for or users don't ask for. Users been asking to put back the system tray and desktop icons on GNOME for many years now. Since they took it out, many users have been asking for it back. The only reason no one's really complaining about it too much because they make extensions of things that they took out, and they have extensions to put it back on the system, which I think is stupid. This is sad altogether. I love KDE. I want to stick with KDE, but that lock screen bug to me it really annoys me. And with Wayland, with the non-free drivers at NVIDIA, I noticed personally it really interferes with the Steam client application and Discord. For some reason, the Steam application client will like a flicker. It's hard to explain. Like it glitches. Like a flickers. Oh, like kind of turns transparent and then kind of goes back. It's just flicker, like just glitchy. You know what I mean? Like it's just like the graphics is like it's distorted. You know, and with Discord, I notice sometimes the text box it kind of glitches out a bit. So it does this as well with GNOME with Wayland on NVIDIA drivers. I do use the non-free drivers, and I am on the latest one. If people are wondering, I'm on 545.29.06. This is the latest one. It's not the beta drivers. I hadn't tested out beta, but I don't really think it'll make any difference, to be honest. It is using the Vulkan API and OpenGL, so it's working fine. The drivers. I'm using the X11 display servers because, unfortunately, I want to use Wayland, but Wayland seems to be a little glitchy, and I could actually deal with the glitchiness with the applications. And I also know this OBS as well. And I'm going to show you right here that it does say safe mode, and that's the only way I can launch this program. Like I'll launch it once, it won't do anything. It'll just core dump. It doesn't do anything. But if you do this in a terminal, I'll just say core dump, and then I'll launch it again, and it'll have a box. It'll say, do you want to like something with OBS? Do you want to launch it in safe mode, or do you want to launch it normally? And if you put normally, it'll just core dump again. If you put safe mode, then I can use the application, which I'm using it right now, but I'm using this in safe mode. I don't really see the difference with safe mode, or it's just that's a bug. That's been a bug with the update of the Qt framework. So the toolkit and all that stuff. All the Qt6 stuff that's been updated. I noticed that OBS been doing that ever since. So that's not a bug right there. That could also be a bug with. I think OBS needs to fix that. It has something to do with their program, and it's not really their fault. I think it's KDE as well updating their desktop environment, so things are like, especially with the because it's OBS is based on Qt framework. So I mean, like when it comes to the program toolkit. It's based on Qt as well. So it's just, to me personally, it's buggy a little bit. It still works though. And also, I noticed one thing though with RC2, when using OBS on Wayland with the NVIDIA drivers, it does the same thing with the safe mode thing. But when the program's working and you want to share your screen, it actually now shows your screen, and you can share your screen. It doesn't show blank anymore. That's been fixed. That actually works now with my display. Before, I couldn't see the desktop; it would just show blank, like when you want to record your desktop with OBS, it just shows a blank black screen. Now it shows my desktop, so that works. So that's been fixed. So that's a good news with that part, but bad news on the other hand, I can't even talk. With RC2, I was hoping for the lock screen to at least function properly better, and I'm scared to use Wayland on NVIDIA drivers. I could deal with like glitchy applications, but when you're locking the screen and it just turns a blank screen with a cursor and you cannot go back to the password prompt, it doesn't show anything. It just stays blank with a white cursor, or whatever your cursor color is. I use white. It will just hang like that. It won't get out of there. It'll just stay like that. And very annoying. Very annoying. I think NVIDIA needs to get their stuff together, sorted out, and they need to really jump onto Wayland. But with my AMD system, with the AMD graphics built in on the Beeling, however, Wayland works really well. I have no problems with it. So yeah, it's NVIDIA. I know there's a problem with NVIDIA drivers, and it's really a problem. Anyways, that is my little rant with RC2. I don't really see much of a difference compared to RC1, but that's me personally. Probably a lot of under the hood things that have been changed. I didn't really have any much problems using KDE 6. Otherwise, I'd probably complain about that as well. But it's mainly just the lock screen that's my biggest issue. But at least it works fairly okay with the X11 display server. But it's still like the blanking just blanks out. It's just, I don't know. The lock screen's been a problem in the past too with other KDE versions, not just 6. This is not just something new I encountered. I've been getting this problem with KDE for a long time. That's one of the reasons why I don't use KDE. That's probably the main reason why I don't use it. But anyways, I'm gonna just cope and deal with it, and hopefully they fix it, because I am addressing the bug, at least in my video. If they come across it, hopefully they can resolve it. And I hope NVIDIA can fix things with their drivers for Wayland as well, because I definitely would rather use Wayland over X11 server. Anyways, have a good one, guys. Cheers. Display server. X11 display server. Cheers.